You failed, Your Highness. I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
The third installment of the Star Wars franchise had a lot on its shoulders. The way the second movie ended in such a surprise and a shock that came out of left field created a buzz and such high expectations out of the ending of the trilogy that George Lucas had to provide. So, is the movie any good? Let's find out. I'm Meffistoe. Like, share, and subscribe because this is my review of the movie Star Wars: Return of the Jedi.
We have enemy ships in Sector 27! It's a trap!
For the third movie of the franchise, Lucas wanted Steven Spielberg to direct the movie, but he had a feud with the Directors Guild and could not do it. Then, Lucas offered the job to David Cronenberg and then David Lynch, but both passed on. So, he took a relatively inexperienced director, Richard Marquand, for the role. But Lucas, being Lucas, he was often on set and often took the second chair to the point where Marquand said it's like directing King Lear with Shakespeare standing right beside you.
You don't know the power of the dark side. I must obey my master.
Lawrence Kasdan continued writing the screenplay along with George Lucas, but he said the title was weak and we should change it to Revenge of the Jedi, which they did. But after the first teaser trailer came out, George had a change of heart, saying that a true Jedi does not take revenge. But by that point, thousands of posters were already printed out with the original title. The story begins as we see R2-D2 and C-3PO going to Jabba's palace to send a message from Luke to Jabba, demanding Han's freedom, which he of course refuses.
I seek an audience with your greatness to bargain for Solo's life.
Leia even tries a rescue attempt later, which doesn't quite work, so it forces Luke to show up and deal with Jabba himself.
Jabba, this is your last chance. Free us or die.
The gang reunites and joins the rebel fleet that secures information about the construction of a new Death Star and how to destroy it. Part of the team will attack the station, and another part of the team will destroy the shield generator protecting it on a nearby moon. It is up to our heroes to band together and complete the mission while Luke wrestles with his newfound knowledge about his past and his desire to reclaim his birthright and destroy the Emperor.
You must confront Vader. Then, only then, a Jedi will you be.
So far so good, I've managed to dodge spoilers for about 2 minutes. But in order for me to give my honest review, I shall have to break my custom and talk about spoilers. So, just in case you have not seen Empire Strikes Back, please stop now, watch it before proceeding with this review. Return of the Jedi, above all, is Luke's struggle with him finding out that his father is not only the man he wanted to destroy, Darth Vader, but that he was deceived by not one but two of his mentors, Obi-Wan and Yoda.
So what I told you was true, from a certain point of view.
A certain point of view?
It seems like Luke has grown up a lot since Empire ended and Return began. That flush, wide-eyed boy from the first movie and the rush and reckless man from the second movie has all been evaporated. There's a lot more convictions in his actions in the third movie and a lot more grown-up decisions as well. It seems like Luke's belief system was shaken to its core at the end of the second movie, but in the third, he is self-confident and self-assured with his convictions and knows what he wants. But of course, we do have an explanation on why Obi-Wan did not tell Luke about his father.
The Emperor knew, as I did, if Anakin were to have any offspring, they would be a threat to him.
I have to say that the most controversial thing that I've ever heard about this movie is the inclusion of the Ewoks in the story. Some think it was bringing the saga one peg lower to attract a younger audience and dumb down the story. I never thought it was so, maybe because I was a young kid watching it. But of my contemporaries who thought this way, I believe they have a lingering memory from the Ewok-centric TV movies, the Ewoks Adventure or the Ewoks Battle for Endor, which were both pretty terrible.
Tell them if they don't do as you wish, you'll become angry and use your magic.
But Master Luke, what magic? I couldn't possibly.
Just tell them.
But I do admit that there are some moments in the Battle for Endor sequence in Return of the Jedi that I could have skipped. But on the whole, I really didn't mind these fuzzy little bears. For the movie itself, most of the major action actually happens in the last 45 minutes of the movie, with both attack on the Death Star happen and the battle for Endor. And of course, let's not forget the final duel between Luke and Vader. All of them have tense moments in them, and all of them have little twists and turns just to keep you on edge. And let's not forget, this is where one of the biggest memes of all time happened.
It's a trap!
For the longest time, right up until 1997, this was my favorite movie of the three. Yeah, I know, I'm just a sucker for a happy ending, I guess, especially as a kid. This movie for me had the best lightsaber battle, the best overall ship-to-ship battle, and overall humor. By the time George Lucas went back and remastered the movies and added in unnecessary scenes to it, it took the magic away, especially for this one. The added scene with the horrible CGI singers at Jabba's palace and the awful ending celebration tainted this movie for me for a long, long time. I genuinely went out of the theater after watching the remastered version and I was upset. And it took watching the despecialized version to make me fall in love with the original version once again.
But beware. Anger, fear, aggression. The dark side are they.
So on the whole, Return of the Jedi is not as well made or not well thought out as The Empire Strikes Back. If you look at it from a very critical lens, it is somewhat of a downgrade that I fully admit is there, but as I stated time and time again, out of the two sequels in the trilogy, I would prefer randomly watching this over The Empire. It's not just your regular happy ending. Within it, you get a full range of emotions, and the father-son story really touches me every single time. On a side note, as a fan of just the movies, I was never into the Boba Fett glamorization, so the criticism of him dying too early or too fast was never a thing for me. In fact, if you're a longtime fan of the franchise, you have to understand that for me, he is still being digested in the Sarlacc pit, and no matter what Jon Favreau or Dave Filoni say, this is an awesome movie that completes a circle and brings balance to the Force.
Let's go, and don't forget the droids. Run away!
I thank you for watching, and remember, hope is a good thing, maybe even the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. I'll see you on the next video.